Hey everybody, welcome to the webinar. We wanted to introduce a really cool feature of Rev1, which is Tracker Technologies. Not many companies in the commissioning space have their own software development team and software solution. Rev1 has been developing TrackerCheck out for the last, I would say, 17 years. So little known fact, we started back in 2008 developing TrackerCheck on our own projects because we felt like there needed to be a better way to handle commissioning. And we've used some other softwares in the past. We like some stuff about those softwares and we didn't like some stuff. So what we really wanted to do was create a Frankenstein software that had everything that we really liked and nothing that we didn't. So that's the ethos of TrackerCheck and Tracker Technologies is, born out of what we've done before, utilizing field expertise. The entire infrastructure around TrackerCheck and the ecosystem is built off of people working in the field and how do we make those workflows fit into a software tool. It's not the other way around where the software tool has to fit the workflow. It really does help bring a lot of the people who are traditionally used to using pen and paper or paper ITRs or spreadsheets, that kind of stuff. It pulls all those people into here and gives them a really flexible solution for delivering projects in a timely and safe fashion. The history behind Rev1 and Tracker, Rev1's been around since 2001. We do commissioning and startup services primarily. We focus on industrial energy projects, anything in the energy space from power plants to refineries, offshore platforms, renewables, anything that has an energy connection we work on. We do commissioning startup. So the software is built to support any of those types of projects, from small capital projects, small brownfield commissioning, to large scale mega projects. The software can support and handle any of those projects in between. And really the goal with the software is to help provide a more proactive approach to project management. So we wanted to give managers of the projects a better view into what was going on on a day-to-day basis and in real time, as opposed to the manager having to sit back and really focus on what they needed to keep track of. So the idea is the software is really like almost an executive assistant for the manager on the project, that they can rely on the software to help drive the project deliverables and things that need to be taken care of, and punch list items and red flags that pop up. We can deal with those on a proactive basis as opposed to reactive. And everybody knows that if you can deal with it on a proactive basis, you're going to save a lot of money on the back end. So that's the entire idea behind the software. And it really does tie into the whole first core values of Rev1 of family, integrity, respect, safety, and trust. And that's how we've designed the software around those core values of delivering safe, reliable, timely projects. And it really has taken off and really come to life all its own outside of Rev1. So we really hadn't marketed it commercially until probably 2016, when we felt like it was a solution we could take to market. And we did a really good job of delivering it on projects. But what we really thought was, well, we need a solution that can be commercially viable and scalable. In 2022, we decided we were going to redesign and rebuild the entire infrastructure and ecosystem of Tracker. And we released that in June of 2024. So version 5 of TrackerCheck is completely rebuilt on all the new infrastructure, IT infrastructure that you can find. So it's not 90s technology that's been patched and carried over. It's literally 2024, the most up-to-date, cutting-edge technology you can run. So whether you have one person or 10,000 people using the software, it's going to operate exactly the same way. It's completely scalable. The security is bulletproof, and you're really going to appreciate the value and the speed of the software. And I think when people use it and when you see the software in action, you're going to see how valuable that can be to your project, and you'll see the return on investment very quickly. So I want to introduce into the conversation Andrew Rachel. He's the brainchild behind TrackerCheck way back in the day when he had a lot more dark hair on his head. He's the brainchild. He's been with us for over 17 years now, and he's going to talk a little bit more about TrackerCheck and just the high level information about that.
I appreciate that, Rick, and appreciate the gray hair comment too. But yeah, I joined the Rev1 family back in 2008. Had a interesting background. Started off as a Navy nuke electrician. Went through that pipeline. Spent 10 years on submarines. After that, went to a government contractor building R&D equipment, new solid state power conversion equipment for Navy submarines. After that, opened my own the software computer business, got into networking, databases, etc. So you combine all that together. I responded to an ad in a wind co-op magazine searching for ex-Navy nuke electricians. Like, well, that sounds like me. Responded to the ad. 2 weeks later, I was on a greenfield combined cycle project in Ohio. So I was brought on to be a turnover coordinator, job one, but I was also brought on to design the software. So I didn't know anything about commissioning at the time. So I thought it best just to keep my mouth shut. I was working with 30-year veterans, so I was just going to watch and see what they did. And they knew exactly how to commission, what they were doing. But what I started noticing was the entire industry is driven by spreadsheets, Microsoft Word, and the people working on them knew exactly their part of the job and they maintained their spreadsheet. Well, you've got a instrument lead working on a spreadsheet, a DCS lead using his spreadsheet, et cetera, all the way for electrical and mechanical. It was working. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love spreadsheets. It's actually relaxing for me in a weird way. But you don't want to drive a project with spreadsheets. You can, but it's not the best thing to do. So what I started doing was taking their spreadsheets, integrating it into a common spreadsheet. So it was feeding a common data source, and then started to look and see what they were doing with that data. They were all using and recreating the exact same data, the tags, basically, and they were using it for their purpose. The first pain point was for the instrument guy. He was hand typing the tags into a Word document. I saw that as the first way to help and got in there and automated that process and was automatically generating ITRs for him in seconds instead of 15, 20 minutes that he was cranking it out at. So everybody immediately saw the benefits of combining the data and automated it, and then it just grew from there. But what I got from that first project was if you approach a 30-year veteran and tell them you're going to change their process, they're going to push back on you. They're not going to enjoy that. But if you can show them how you've taken their existing process and automate it and turn it into digital and share it with somebody else, or you're sharing someone else's info with them and they don't have to do that work, you show them the benefits of not recreating, duplicating data, sharing and utilizing digital aspects that they were sort of already doing, but you put some automation behind it, made their job easier. They were able to get out of the trailer and then go out and start pushing the project. So we got early adoption because we made people's jobs easier. That first version one of the software was an Access database, and it's progressed over the years. And like Ricky said, it's now on AWS using all the AWS architecture with scalable Docker containers and a lot of other fun terms. But basically what it means is exactly what Ricky said. One person logs in, they're going to get really speedy, snappy action out of the software. It is instantaneous. And then seconds later, you got 10,000 people hitting the same site from the same project. They see exactly the same thing. And that's all that AWS architecture in the background, scaling up automatically to handle the load. World-class security built in. We still use to this day, we started on day one, every client we brought on got their own database. So we kept the data separate. We didn't use multi-tenancy where we were saving $1 so we could put everybody in the same database. We didn't do that. We gave everybody their own database. So it just gets rid of a lot of data integrity issues on our side and makes the clients feel safe. And we still do that today. So things we learned on day one, we're still doing today, but we also improved on that vastly with a lot of improvements. I can't even count how much we've improved over the years, but the software is definitely enterprise level, top notch now. So it's fun to use, fun to get out there and market and talk about. It's really exciting from my standpoint because I saw it from day one when it was a spreadsheet. It's turning into an Access database that was a pain to maintain, but we got where we are today by starting that way. And so the big takeaway really is we didn't approach a software company and say, build this, and then come back and figure out how the software company determined how we wanted to commission projects. We developed the software in the field and have always developed it in the field. Everybody that works on our team on the front lines that are inputting in the software have been out in the field. You'll meet Clint Scott and other videos. He's our client support specialist, and he's been in the field. He's done it. He's done preservation. He's mechanical, great guy. But everybody on our side has been in the industry, been on projects. We know exactly where you're at and what you're doing. And what we did with the software was try to make it as simple as humanly possible on the front end. And to quote Martin Canham, Fisher Price on the front end, NASA on the back end. So we try to make it as simple to use as possible on the front end so we can get quick adoption in the field. Again, you don't want 30-year vets thinking you're trying to tell them how to do their job. So simple. We still use some spreadsheet interactions, so they still get to have their spreadsheets. That's how we get data in and out of the system primarily. But then in the background, it's solid state, high-end coding, AWS architecture, NASA in the background. Really enjoyed working with Rev1. It is a family environment, and really, really impressed with our software and the way it's turned out. That's a testament to the entire team. Yeah, Ricky says I'm the brainchild of the software, but it's been a team effort. We have some phenomenal developers around the world that chip in. Everybody's taking feedback from the field and feeding it through, but we take a look at all the requests and we put it in the software. And if things went well, I'll take credit for that. Things go well or go wrong, it's definitely my fault to take the blame on that. But there's definitely a human side to the software. When you get your 2-week trial, you're not left to fend for yourself. Clint will be reaching out to you to walk you through the process. You can hit the contact support button and you're immediately talking to a person. So you're not going to get lost in the enterprise mess. We're here, we're personal, and we're here for you to make your project run smoother.
That's a perfect segue into, it's not just about the software, it's about the service, and it's about the entire package. And that's what we've really tried to focus on. Being that we're in the services space, we know how important it is to not just provide a software, but provide an entire ecosystem around delivering the project. So we really emphasize client support, and we don't just sell a software or lease a software to you and then expect you to know how to use it. We want really to have you adopt it, have it become a really valuable tool on your project, and we want to be a partner in the success of that project. And that's how we look at every single license that we sell, whether it's a project license or an enterprise license. It's the client success really drives our success. So we thrive on client word of mouth, and when the projects go well, we wear a feather in our cap because that project went well. So it, like Drew said, we've actually designed the website to even streamline the process of onboarding. So you don't have to go through a long drawn out process where you do a demonstration and get a quote and all of this. It takes weeks and weeks. You can literally go on our website, sign up, put your information in, and you get a 2-week trial in about 30 minutes. So you can start using it, and if you have all your data set up just right, you can have it up and running within the first day you've got it. It really is that simple, and it shouldn't be complicated. The tool shouldn't keep you from doing your job. It should help you do your job better, and that's the entire ethos behind Tracker. So go to the website, sign up for a 2-week trial, and I'm sure you'll be glad you did.